Hello and welcome to The Reasons I'm Broke. I'm Kelli.
And I'm Daniel.
And this week's podcast is brought to you by MegaCon, Florida's biggest comic book, sci-fi, anime, and movie convention.
Yeah, MegaCon 2014. Get your tickets at megaconvention.com. Check out the latest guests, which we will be covering later on today.
And for those of you turning into our podcast for the first time, this is where we talk about comic books, movies, video games, the things that make us broke throughout the week.
We usually start off with a little bit of news, and we end the podcast with our comic book pool list. Mainly consisting of DC, but we do have some Marvel books and some indie books in the mix too, especially today.
And, beginning with our news, our love of comic books have led us to support a Kickstarter. It's called Something Terrible, written by Dean Tripp. This is an amazing comic. He's already beyond met his goal, but more money helps. We definitely want to give you some information about this guy.
Yeah, he's got about 2 weeks left on the Kickstarter. You can definitely check it out on Kickstarter. Just search Something Terrible by Dean Tripp. The reason we want to mention this Kickstarter is you and I, we love Batman. And I think what we relate most with the character is that this is a character that went through something bad, that suffered through something terrible, as this is titled. But this is more of, I'll read the description right here. Something Terrible is a short autobiographical comic about recovery from childhood trauma and the power of fictional heroes. This is a story about a young man that related to Batman characters, his superheroes, as he dealt with growing up with this problem that you will read about in the comic. It did reach its goal, but we are promoting it so that you get in on this. I mean, the reviews on this are amazing. If you actually follow Dean Tripp on Twitter, at Dean Tripp, it's spelled Trippe, you can see just how far he's come with the Kickstarter and how successful it really is. And it's not over, so you can get this comic for as low as $5, $10, whatever you want to support, even $1. You get the comic for $1, digital version of it.
Absolutely worth it. He has some samples of his art up on the Kickstarter. It looks amazing. I am very, very impressed.
If you just scroll through that front page and just keep going, you will see at the very bottom, it's just this powerful image of all these characters that he grew up with. Just this little young man and Batman right at his side, showing him the rest of his superhero friends and the people that he grew up with as he got through this childhood trauma.
And gay Superman in there. Sorry, just had to throw it out there.
Yeah, he's waving, not at the little boy, but at Batman. He's got a very flamboyant
Hi,
wave.
Batman. Welcome back.
Is this our son?
I was going to say that. Taking my joke.
Already. Superman Loves Batman theme song.
I can lift you up. I can show you what you want to see and take you where you want to be. You could be my luck. Even if the sky is falling down, I know that we'll be safe and sound. We're safe and sound.
Some of the reviews, if we want to read off of the page here.
We have Agonizing and Triumphant by Rich Barrett, Mental Floss.
It may do you or someone else a lot of good, for real. That's from Heidi McDonald, from The Beat.
One of those rare examples of what comics are capable of that no other form of communication can do as effectively, by Tom Feaster of The Awesomes.
Moved me more than anything else I've read this year. Greg Pak, Marvel and DC Comics. That's the same author that writes Superman Loves Batman. Or Batman Superman, yeah.
It may be, all hyperbole aside, the most important superhero book published in our lifetime. Scott Fogg, The Last Cast.
So we're encouraging everyone, make sure to check out this Kickstarter, especially if you like Batman, and especially if you read these comic books and maybe do relate to the superheroes that actually go through something terrible.
And even if you don't particularly like comics, I think it might give you a better understanding of what comic books can do for people.
Comics, movies, all these things they're the things we love. It's an escape for us, especially movies in particular, because you lose yourself in a character, in a world, you're sitting there. And if with comics, you have the same effect if you're just reading the pages and getting into the story. This is why we love this stuff, and this is why we talk about it every day. And this is one perspective of it, how we can help, how we can better deal with some of our own problems through these superheroes and these fictional characters.
And one last time, this is called Something Terrible by Dean Tripp. His last name's spelled Trippe. You can follow him on Twitter, at Dean Tripp.
Moving on to some comic book news. Justice League of Canada. Do you remember that was going to be one of the books coming up from the events of Forever Evil, replacing Justice League of America? It has been renamed Justice League United. It will debut in April with a brand new team made up of Martian Manhunter, Adam Strange, Supergirl, Green Arrow, and Animal Man.
What happened to Catwoman? Is she making out with Batman in the Batcave?
Probably not.
Probably so.
Not only did the Justice League move completely out of Canada, this new team is going to operate from outer space, actually. They will switch between Canada and the outer space. I don't know what kind of base they're going to have. Maybe it'll be like the Javelin in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
The Watchtower?
The Watchtower. But the author still took 6 months out of his time to actually understand Canada. And you can read, you can read the article on newsarama.com.
He could just watch South Park. They'll just tell him everything he needs.
Same thing. Yeah.
They fart and they queef. That's all they do in Canada. Lost all our listeners.
I didn't know all our listeners were from Canada.
I
Damn.
guess.
But we're still going to be checking it out. It's going to be a very interesting book, especially from this team. We like Stargirl. We'll talk about her and Martian Manhunter later on in the episode. Animal Man, I'm glad, like, the story is ending. He's no longer getting his own book, but he will still have a place on this team in the DC universe.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting. Can't wait to see what they do with it. Now we're going to move on to the answers from our question of the week. Our Twitter question was, if you could pick just one other Justice League member to make an appearance in Superman vs. Batman, who would it be?
Yeah, we got an answer from @IndomitableGeek. He said either Flash or Cyborg.
Good answer. Good answer.
I think Cyborg should absolutely be in the Justice League movie that they eventually work up to. And then everyone really likes the Flash. It doesn't matter which Flash they go with. I think we kind of sort of have enough already with Wonder Woman, but the question was if they were to add one more. Flash would be good. Cyborg would be awesome. Great picks. What about you?
I don't know how well Cyborg would fit in with it.
As a cameo.
Right. I think he would be, I mean, unless it's, him before he became Cyborg.
Yeah.
Same with Flash. I think if we saw him as Barry Allen or whichever persona they go with, not as the Flash, but as the Doctor working on whatever, and then you're like, oh shit, that's going to be the Flash. Mm-hmm. That would be really cool. I would love to see Jon Stewart. They can't fit him in there at all. Well, he could be an army guy.
Yeah.
I would love to see Jon Stewart.
We're also going to go ahead and read off some reviews that we've gotten in the last 30 days. We want to make this a regular thing. If you want to leave us a review on iTunes, on Stitcher, and we'll give you a shout out on the podcast. So we'll start off with from Slade Wilsonette. The podcast is perfect in every way. It knows what to keep going, it knows where to stop, and the people making the podcast are such a great mix, especially with their ideas of what goes on in the character's mind. I mainly think they're talking about Superman here. I expect many great things coming from you guys.
Aw, thank you, Slade Wilsonette. Our next one is from Pandanime, who says, the information is very useful for someone like me who is trying to get back into comics. The commentary is also fun to hear as they play off each other very well. Well worth a listen.
Yeah, thank you, Pandanime. If you've heard, we have talked about Pandanime before. Mm-hmm. He's actually one of the members from Lazy Gaming Guys on YouTube. That's their YouTube channel, one word, Lazy Gaming Guys. They do a lot of Let's Plays, a lot of top 10s. Very funny. Definitely check them out. They put up videos almost every week. As I mentioned earlier, we are going to talk about MegaCon 2014. It takes place March 21st through the 23rd. You can get your tickets at megaconvention.com.
Definitely pick those tickets up early. The sooner you buy them, the cheaper they are. And you skip that huge-ass line day of.
Yeah, we're always like, glad we're not waiting in that.
See you later, bye.
Got our tickets in advance. Don't have to sit in that. Just go, you go into the line with your last name. Actually, one of the times we went there, I think Z... the last part of the alphabet, there was just no lines there, and they don't care. They'll be like, yeah, whatever your last name is, we just want to cut down on the line. So it makes it a lot quicker. Always get your tickets ahead of time. If you wait in line, that's an hour that you could be spending walking around the floor, buying something, or in line for one of your favorite artists or media guests. Mm-hmm.
Or even outside of the dealer room, they have everybody in their costumes, and there's some amazing ones. So you can always take pictures with them, or they have panels every year too. Some are really great, fun to sit in on. You learn a whole lot about whatever topic you're interested in.
I also asked on Twitter, if you were going to MegaCon 2014, what guest are you most excited to meet? And from @Keklar, if I were going, it would definitely be John Barrowman. Loved him in Torchwood and Doctor Who, and also great in Arrow. We talked about John Barrowman last week, actually, a recently added guest. If you like Torchwood, huge news for you. Or even the more recently successful Arrow, of course.
And a MegaCon exclusive based on one of the guests. They're going to have a limited edition Stan Lee Funko pop-up figure for $25.
Yeah, this just got announced. It's brand new. MegaCon is so big now. They have all these exclusives that you can get every year. It's kind of like San Diego Comic-Con almost in that they have like all their exclusives, or C2E2 has their exclusive covers and everything. They actually ended up getting a Stan Lee pop figurine. If you've seen those pop figures, they've made Batman, Harley Quinn, Marvel characters, He-Man, all kinds of stuff. And the Stan Lee one has him ripping his shirt open, kind of like Superman would do. And inside is another shirt that says True Believers. It looks great. It's a great figurine, great exclusive. They are very limited. So if you're going to go, get it on Friday. And again, skip the line, get your tickets in advance so you can get yourself to that Stan Lee figure. Speaking of Stan Lee, he will be returning to MegaCon. He was there last year, and you can get the MegaCon Stan Lee VIP experience. They haven't specified yet what days this will take place, but you can actually meet Stan Lee. I think it's a little over $200. If you love Stan Lee, if you love Spider-Man, it'd be like Paul Dini or Kevin Conroy experience. Like, I'm sure we would pay over $200 for someone like that.
You kidding me? $500. Here you go. I don't need to eat. Who needs a place to live?
You know, for people that love Stan Lee, love Marvel, you know, it's well worth it for them.
And it's in March, so you guys got time to save up.
Otherwise, they're going to have plenty of guests, as we mentioned. We're going to keep touching up on the latest guests for MegaCon because they do always end up having something for everyone.
Absolutely.
With that, we can move on to comics, again brought to you by MegaCon 2014. We're going to start off with the indie comics, move on to Marvel, and finally end with DC. A short list this week.
First up, we have Adventure Time number 24. This one's written by Ryan North and Christina Ness, with art by Shelley Paroline and Mike Holmes. This is finishing up the Bubblegum taking over the Candy Kingdom story arc.
Yeah, we figure out how they can repel Bubblegum and actually cure everyone from the evil Bubblegum experiment or whatever. I didn't know that the what's his name?
Lemongrab.
Lemongrab. I didn't know that he was an experiment.
You don't pay attention to the show. They say all this. We're reading this, and he's going, I didn't know her name was Bonnabelle. They've said it like 14 times in the comics, and they say it all over the show.
Yeah, I didn't know. I guess I don't pay attention.
Why do you think they call her BB?
Maybe that's why I like the comic more than the TV show, because I learned way more from the books than I do.
Because I guess you just don't pay attention to the TV show. But no, they call her BB because she's Bonnabelle Bubblegum.
Okay.
That's her name.
That makes sense.
That's why she's BB. Danny.
But I thought this was a great story arc. Whenever they come out with the trade, when this is included in there, I mean, I think it does make it worth the buy if you want the entire story together. They'll come out with a soft cover. They'll come out with the hardcover. And this one itself, again, by Ryan North, it was really good. He also has another comic book out right now. I think it's called The Midas Touch. It involves the story where whatever you touch turns to gold due to a wish, right?
Yeah, King Midas wanted to be wealthy or something. So the gods are like, okay, whatever you touch turns to gold. And then he can't eat and he can't drink and he kills all his friends. Didn't you see Wishbone?
No, I didn't.
That was totally on Wishbone.
I didn't know that was a part of the story.
That was totally on Wishbone.
It's a dark story.
It was.
Wishbone.
Wishbone had some dark stories. They had the one where he fell asleep for a bunch of years. Remember?
No.
It wasn't Rumpelstiltskin. What was the story? Some guy went into the woods and fell asleep for 40 years. It was weird. And then he had the one with the Odyssey or whatever. He had some dark stories.
So King Midas, he was kind of like Captain Barbossa in Pirates of the Caribbean. He couldn't eat, so he was always hungry.
You mean like those real pirates?
Like the Somalian pirates?
No, those aren't pirates. Pirates of the Caribbean are real pirates.
No, those are not real pirates.
Yes, they're real pirates. They're handsome.
They get shot and then they say, I feel cold. Drop an apple.
Yeah, real pirates.
They're not real pirates.
Real pirates. Okay, Twitter question.
Yeah, Twitter question of the week. Which ones are real pirates? The ones with the feathers and hooks
and parrots and peg legs.
Eye patches?
Yes.
Or pirates that actually board ships that even today you can find in the ocean with guns. Have you seen that? What was that movie?
Captain Phillips.
Captain Phillips. Those are pirates.
Those aren't
up
pirates.
for an Academy Award.
Those aren't pirates.
Oh.
Those are mean people with guns.
It's up for Best Picture. I don't remember any Pirates of the
They're
Caribbean
probably like
movies
gangsters. Those are gangsters.
They're pirates. That's what pirates are.
They're boat gangsters.
You're going to say they're thieves. Right, pirates.
See, that was called Captain Phillips, not Pirates of the Simoleon.
Captain Phillips versus the pirates.
That's not what it's called. It's just called Captain Phillips. So those are boat
I
gangsters.
hear that's really good, though. Oscar nominees, that's up there. American Hustler.
American Hustle.
Yeah, American Hustle, that's up there.
That
We
was a
talked
great
about it.
movie.
Yeah, it was really good. Saving Mr. Banks.
Eh.
I think that was up there. If it is, that's 2 Tom Hanks movies.
Good job, Tom Hanks. He better win, like,
He hasn't won
actor.
enough, I guess.
What's one more? Did you ever see that picture? We're on a rant now. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Where he takes his Oscar and tapes it to the hood of his car.
No, I didn't.
He did that. It was Reasons You Should Love Tom Hanks. And he took his Oscar and taped it on there like a hood ornament.
That is really funny. Give him another one. Just for that. The new Matthew McConaughey movie, I haven't seen it yet.
Which one?
It's one, I don't remember the exact title of it, but it's one, I read the description because I was like, this is interesting. He's been like blowing me away in the last couple movies. Like,
Mud.
I think it was American Lincoln or whatever, where he plays a lawyer. Mud
Lincoln
was
Lawyer.
really good. Lincoln Lawyer, that's what it is. And this one, he plays an intolerant cowboy that I guess just hates the gay community. And this takes place in the 70s, might have been 80s actually. And it turns out that he gets the HIV virus. And that's when he starts to actually sell medication to the gay community, to people afflicted with AIDS, and kind of learns to not be tolerant anymore. The whole plot isn't on there, but yeah, not be intolerant, sorry. So it sounds really good. Again, Matthew McConaughey has been kicking ass. I heard he lost a shit ton of weight just to appear the role, actually be sickly looking. So I'm really excited because it just seems like Matthew McConaughey, all those early movies, is just like, oh, I was just fucking around with you guys. I'm actually a good actor. Here you go. Boom. Oscars. Jared Leto's in that too. He was in American Psycho. He's the guy that gets killed by Christian Bale
Which
with
one?
the axe.
Oh, him.
Him to be square. He dances.
My favorite part is when he runs down the hallway in just his tennis shoes. I'm like, what
His
are you
running
doing?
shoes, yeah.
Yes. What are you doing?
Yeah, time to put on his running shoes. That was great.
He was probably doing it in his running shoes.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we've journeyed down that rabbit hole,
Yeah.
we'll jump back into comics. Our next indie book, Adventure Time follow-up story follows Cinnamon Bun.
Yeah, that was really good.
It was Cinnamon Bun is trying to do all these jobs and it just sucks at all of them. Like he tries to help Peppermint Butler, and Peppermint Butler goes, you have to stack all these dishes, and does it so nice. And Cinnamon Bun barely touches one dish to the other, and they all break. Everything in the cabinet, everything he's holding, for whatever reason. So in the end, he's like, well, I guess I'll just go back to my old job. And it turns out that he's guarding, like, this ultimate darkness something beast. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was awesome. Next book is Powerpuff Girls #5, written and drawn by Troy Little. Doing all the work.
Doing a great job, though. We're finally finishing up the him storyline where he made all the villains good and then made them bad again.
Right. And then here you see that his plan doesn't really come into fruition because he didn't estimate the villains, to actually think, well, we don't like being used this way. You're actually the evil one here, not us. So I thought that was a great little ending to the story whenever I just like when the villains are showcased and it turns out that they're not just really bad. They have their own personal traits and their own problems that cause them to be bad or cause them to be evil against the Powerpuff Girls. But here at the end, you see that maybe they can get like a second chance, and most of them do deserve it. Mr. Fuzzy Lumpkins.
Fuzzy Lumpkins.
His relationship with Bubbles.
That was so
great.
sweet.
Yeah.
I love that. That was a very nice touch. But definitely a great end to this first arc by Troy Little. Hopefully we'll see some great things in the next one. Next we have God is Dead, #5. This one's written by Jonathan Hickman and art by D. Amarim.
I was a little disappointed by this. I feel like at this point the story is, I don't know, it's getting weaker and weaker. It's more just, it's kind of like junk food.
The
for the
story
comic book
is
reader.
dead. Right. If you remember in the last one, it feels like it's been a long time since this comic came out.
Yeah, it's been 5 months now.
Well, but I mean, since the last one came out.
It's because of the holidays. Like, I remember we talked about this last week. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, if you remember in the last one, they were trying to create their own god, and it was evil and ate some kid, so they shot it.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they're like, let's inject ourselves. And randomly there's a love story.
Yeah, just thrown in there.
Randomly with the half-naked chick and some doctor.
One or the other, yeah.
I don't know.
Doctor.
Anyway, they inject themselves, and then Zeus is a badass, though. I will say that. They did a good job with that. And the guy who set himself on fire. That was pretty
That was
cool.
kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it's just fluff. Now it's really just kind of like, this guy fights this guy, and he kills them all. Zeus is the ultimate badass. Look, watch him kill this other person, another god. Thor, fuck him. So it's just, I don't know. I might drop it after this.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
I thought it wasn't only like 6 issues, or is it supposed to be ongoing?
It was supposed to be, but it went into ongoing.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, this may be it.
Yeah. Sales were good on it, though.
It had so much potential, though.
Yeah, Jonathan Hickman.
So much potential. Okay, we're going to rewrite this. And sales will be off the charts.
Where I'm in the book and I'm like, none of you are real. And they all disappear and I save the world.
But it has to be really comical. And they all disappear.
Now we can move on to our Marvel book for this week.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big one, actually, for the story and for the fans as well. Superior Spider-Man number 25. It's written by Dan Slott and Christos Gage with art by Humberto Ramos.
Guess who came back?
You heard it last week. Amazing Spider-Man number 1 will have the return of Peter Parker. Here we see exactly how Peter Parker is actually... He never went away.
No.
He pretty much went into hiding.
He's like, I'm just being sneaky, bitch. And I'm like, okay.
This is a $4.99 book. It's much longer.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a special, I guess. I don't feel like it warranted all the extra pages. But, whatever. It is kind of an important book because of the fact that you see that Peter Parker has been hiding in Otto Octavius's consciousness or his own brain, not just to get Otto away from trying to erase him permanently. This is also where you see that Otto Octavius, Superior Spider-Man, cannot control Venom.
Right. That was pretty cool trying to see him fight Venom, and Venom's kind of fighting back, and Flash shows up to get the Venom back because they have a symbiotic relationship at this point. And there was an oh shit moment where Venom's like, nah, now I'm superior. And I'm like, oh shit, Venom's not going to go back. Could have been a really cool cliffhanger, but of course they continued the book because it is a bigger issue.
Right, and then we're going to see in 2 weeks how the Avengers actually definitely don't trust Spider-Man. They found out that he was the one that was deleting certain files that would have revealed that Peter Parker is actually still in the body of Peter Parker.
So we'll definitely see this continue. I'm thinking we're towards the end of it, though, unfortunately, and Doc Ock will no longer be Spider-Man.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll probably pick up the first couple issues for Amazing Spider-Man, but it's kind of like we only picked up Spider-Man because Doc Ock was going to be the new one. We're like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's like a good idea,
They're
and it was
ending
good.
everything cool. Ultimate
Yeah.
Spider-Man's going away.
Well, again, it might come back.
Maybe.
Hopefully. On to DC.
We start out with Batgirl number 27. This is a Gothtopia tie-in, written by the wonderful Gail Simone, with art by Robert Gill.
This is not something you have to get if you want to get all of the Gothtopia story.
It was still good.
It was
I
good.
really liked it.
I agree, but that's how they get you with some of these tie-ins. Like, if you just want to read Gothtopia, you just have to get Detective Comics. This, I don't feel like it gave you any substantial information as far as Gothtopia goes.
No, but it gave you more insight to the fact that this is all really just an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
So now who's really behind it? Probably the Mad Hatter. That's my guess.
Scarecrow.
You think it's Scarecrow?
Yeah.
I think it's the Mad Hatter. Let's make a bet.
Fine.
What's the bet?
I don't know.
We'll come up with something. If you guys are on Twitter, tell us what the winner gets.
At Reasons I'm Broke. So with this Gothtopia tie-in, you do see the brand new costume that we saw on Detective Comics last week for Batgirl. It's not, I guess it wouldn't be brand new because it's just an illusion, but it is all white. I think it's awesome. It's probably one of my favorite covers I've seen out of the Batgirl series. And it looks really, really good. The art itself on the inside, it's not the same artist, and honestly, I was not impressed. The coloring was really bad in some panels. But, I mean, for what you get, it tells you the story, and it's enough. You're not going to see the regular artist until, I think, next month.
I think the story was really good, though. It's so interesting to me to see the parallels between Gothtopia and actual Gotham. It really is completely different. And then we do get to see little flashes of how this is an illusion and how the characters handle that. For example, and I'm just sort of spoiling the book, there's a instance which Batgirl stops, and she has a flashback to what Gotham really happened, to a moment, and she pretty much ends the book by saying, I'm just going to bury this, not even pay attention to it. So we kind of get the feeling that nobody really wants to find out what's going on because it's a perfect world, and I don't really blame them because they're just going to go back to misery and suffering. And, you know, she wakes up every day to her dad making her breakfast, and her mom's still there, and her brother's still there. Why would you want to give that up? So that's, and her boyfriend, I mean, yeah. Ricky's not in the hospital in a coma. So I think I hope Gail's going to do something really powerful with that, where she has to lose all this utopia.
We'll see. I think it's just this month that all of them have the Gothopia tie-in. So
man,
next month it's back to...
Gail could have done so good.
It's not like she's going away. She's fine. She's
know.
doing Tomb Raider. That's coming out.
Good for her.
I don't think we're picking it up, but
it's Gail Simone. Yeah. Strong women power, Dan. Come on, we got to support that.
I am supporting it. I actually ordered the Red Sonja trade paperback.
It was a good story.
It's not very pricey, and yeah, it was a great story. So that's coming now. Should be out soon, I think within a month.
Awesome.
Can't wait. Next DC book, Batman Low Gotham
Say
number
it
10.
right.
It's written by Dustin Nguyen.
Thank you.
Also drawn by Dustin Nguyen. Derek Friedolfs helped with the story as well.
This is a Poison Ivy issue. We get to see some really amazing artwork. There were some panels in there that I would have spent a year's worth of paychecks on and framed and slapped on the wall.
Yeah, some of the best art we've seen from Dustin Nguyen in the Batman Low Gotham series, the comic book. Even the cover.
It's made up of two different stories. The first, like I said, was a Poison Ivy story. The second is a really funny Damian Alfred story. But the first one, we get to see Poison Ivy through the seasons. So she loves winter because she can protect her plants from the snow. And she loves spring because everything's blooming. And she loves summer because everything is alive. But she hates fall. And we get to see Harley and Catwoman try and help her overcome this gloom that she's feeling.
Yeah, like even her outfit, instead of like the bright greens, they actually get the browns and the oranges just like you would in the fall. And really funny because she convinces Joker to help her out with this. So Joker does all the wrong things, of course, like tries to send her a bunch of flowers, but they're all cut. So like Catwoman says, that's like someone trying to send me a fur coat.
Yeah.
And Joker just does all these attempts that all fail because they're all like probably offending Poison Ivy, but she's just so depressed she's not even paying attention. It was a really good story. I enjoyed it. It
was really cute. It's always cute when you get the Sirens together.
Yeah.
And throwing Joker in there is so funny.
Yeah, I miss the Sirens.
The second story, like we said, was a Damian Alfred story. Damian is convinced that Alfred's a murderer. Was really, really, really funny. They're making up all these stories of what Alfred's really doing.
Yeah.
Some really funny stuff. You have Damian, you have Red Hood. He pops in there.
Tim
Drake, who's
Robin as well.
Yep. And Katana.
Yep.
And they just have these funny stories of how Alfred is a murderer and he's behind the whole, he's obsessed with bats and he's just trying to turn everyone into a bat and kidnap them. And it turns out that Nightwing and Batgirl and Red Hood are telling them all this so that they'll go stop him. And then Alfred can be like, oh, I'm putting away the Christmas decorations. Come and help me.
Yeah, that was funny. It was a really good book. Definitely check it out. It's also ending very soon.
No!
And Dustin Nguyen is hopefully getting a brand new project, though.
I hope so.
They're saying that Kyle Higgins is coming off the Nightwing book.
Kyle Higgins and Dustin Nguyen.
No, Kyle Higgins is going off the Nightwing book. Probably doing the new Dick Grayson book, whatever it is. If he's the new Owl person, maybe that'll be the new book that they debut. But then the new Nightwing, hopefully it's the one that Dustin Nguyen designed and put up on Facebook first, I think it was. And hopefully he's actually the writer along with Derek Friedolfs
for
the new Nightwing.
What if Harper Row is Nightwing?
If Harper Row is Nightwing and Dustin Nguyen is drawing it, we're putting Nightwing back on our pull list. Without a doubt. I mean, we'll follow Dustin Nguyen whatever books he does.
Wherever.
Same with Pat Gleason and Tomasi.
I will drive 16 hours to see Dustin Nguyen at a convention.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Final book this week.
Justice League of America number 11. This is, again, a Forever Evil tie-in following Martian Manhunter and Stargirl. It's written by Matt Kindt with art by Eddie Barros and Eber Ferreira.
Another case in which you don't have to have this book if you're just reading Forever Evil. It does tie into it very loosely. It's mainly, if you follow the last 2 issues, it's a Martian Manhunter Stargirl team-up story. And I like it because it is Justice League of America, but it's also going to be Justice League United. I feel like those 2 characters are so powerful on their own that they can lead a Justice League on their own, by themselves, even just Martian Manhunter.
I think this is really great. I would definitely pick it up even if you're just trying to follow the Justice League, the Forever Evil stuff, because we've already seen what an amazing character they've made Martian Manhunter. He is one of the most badass characters I think that they've had in a long time. You know, Batman's, of course, the best, but Martian Manhunter is pretty cool. But they're doing some great things with Stargirl, too. You know, 3-4 issues ago, we thought that she was just perfect and happy and nothing was wrong, and now we're seeing she's got a lot of shit buried and what's going to happen, and she's very conflicted right now. I think it's a great story. I'm loving following this team up.
Yeah, same here. I think one of my favorite panels was when Martian Manhunter was dying, and then he sees like his woman naked.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on here?
Danny, they're Martians. They don't, it's cold on, well, I was going to say it's warm on Mars. I'm just being ignorant because it's red.
We talked about this too.
Yes, we did last. Anyway, I don't know. They're Martians. They don't need clothes.
Danny, they don't view
Nakedness
that way, all right? You're being perverted.
Maybe they're wearing clothes and we just think they're naked.
Yeah.
Do we know what their naked looks like? Maybe their naked is when they wear clothes.
It was still funny, though.
It was.
Seeing it. He fights Clayface in it, so Clayface does
Just
make an appearance.
Randomly.
Yeah.
And the cover says, like, Clayface Attacks. I'm like, he was kind of in there for a couple panels. I guess he did attacked. He's like, gotcha. See you later.
Stargirl calls him Crap Man.
Yeah. Kind of is. He's pretty gross.
Yeah.
Pretty gross guy.
Except in Dark Knight, where we felt for him when he was sharing that cell with the other guy that saw all his movies.
And I cried.
Yeah. So Stargirl, stop making fun of him. Leave him alone.
He's tragic, Stargirl.
I take back about that Crap Man thing being funny.
But I thought it was a great issue, even if you're just following Forever Evil, the main story. It's a great tie-in, and it gives you more insight as to where the Justice League really is.
So with that, we'll wrap up with our pick of the week and our pass of the week. First, the pass of the week. My pass of the week will actually be God is Dead number 5.
Me too. That did not live up to its potential at all. Very disappointed.
As for our picks of the week.
Can anybody guess what my pick of the week is?
Go ahead.
It's Little Gotham, number 10.
Mine's going to be Adventure Time, number 24.
That was a good one. Poor Lemon Grab.
Yeah, so both, I guess you would say all ages books. Batman Little Gotham and Adventure Time. But we did agree on the pass of the week. That was very easy. It's easier to agree on a pass of the week than it is like a pick of the week.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for a jumping on point, the next Adventure Time, number 25, will be a good time to jump into that series. And Little Gotham, each story stands on its own, so by all means, pick up any issue. All of them are going to entertain you from beginning to end.
Oh, they're all great.
There hasn't been a bad one.
No. And it's very, I say this every time, but it's very reminiscent of the animated series plus Damien.
Right.
Like, it's great. It's just a continuation of my childhood.
And another good starting point will be in Powerpuff Girls number 6 next month. So if you're looking to jump into some comics, here's your opportunity. Adventure Time, Powerpuff Girls, and Batman Little Gotham.
And guys, sorry it's a short week, but that's going to do it for us this week. Please check us out on Twitter. Questions, comments are always welcome. Hashtag Reasons I'm Broke, @Reasons I'm Broke.
You can also find us on Stitcher.com. If you have an iDevice or an Android phone, you can download the Stitcher app and subscribe on there. It will give you a notification for when the new episodes are up.
We are also on iTunes. Just search The Reasons I'm Broke. We have all the episodes up there, I believe. Please leave us a comment and a rating, and we'll help other people find us.
If you leave us a review on Stitcher or on iTunes, we will give you a shout out over the podcast. So there you go. Helps us out, and you get a little shout out.
And if you haven't checked us out on YouTube yet, definitely do that. We put up unboxings of some really, really cool statues. I don't know, more reasons we're broke. But I believe the most recent one we did was the Harley Quinn bombshell. And as we get more, there will definitely be more up there. And you can also check out the podcast on there as well.
And that'll do it for this week. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelli.
See you next week.